and acting and performing and dancing. Ever since I was in the first grade, this is what I was telling everybody I'd be pursuing as a career after my big debut as Gretel in Hansel and Gretel. Now I'm in my senior year and a little apprehensive. Am I going to be poor? Am I going to be a washed-up actor? Am I even good at anything I do? You may have heard the phrase, take a leap of faith. This phrase is deeply embedded in my way of life. To take a leap of faith is to do something no matter how scary it may be. It can feel like standing over a cliff and hoping that your parachute works when you jump. In life, we have moments that feel very scary, and we just have to go for it. Can't look back or second guess, because that's when you'll trip. And sometimes, the worst thing isn't failing, it's never jumping at all. The first time I came face to face with taking a leap of faith was when I was a kid. I grew up in Berlin, and I hope that if you've ever traveled in Europe, you've noticed how wild the playgrounds are. As cool kids know, the zip line is the best part of the playground. And little me felt like that had the same stakes as flying in a rocket ship through space. These European zip lines were no joke, and 3 foot tall Liz was scared. But as I stood there, I knew that time was ticking, and I had to jump. Kids were waiting behind me, and if I did this, I would have lived through something, almost facing death. So I jumped off the edge and into the unknown. Eyes closed, I gave a yell, and before I knew it, I was done. I did it. I had taken the leap of faith. Now I'm all grown up, and I still have to take leaps of faith, especially in one aspect of my life, music. I come from a very musical household. Another secret I have is that my mom's a music teacher. So music has always been a study and a deep love for me. This year, I'm studying jazz vocals at the Manhattan School of Music, and I've learned a lot about taking a leap of faith. I love jazz because of the freedom and openness of expression. It's not only a serious thing it's made out to be. It's so in line with who I am as a person. It's fun and spontaneous. More than half of jazz is improvisation, which is the quintessence of taking a leap of faith. Many people don't like jazz because they don't really understand the form. So in a jazz song, there's a tune that you play in the beginning and the end, and that's called the head. The rest of the song, you follow that same chord progression and solo over it. For example, in the song Blues in the Closet that my band at MSM recently performed, we sang through the head and then did something called trading choruses, where we took that same chord progression and improvised over it. As a singer, I do something called scatting, which is when you make the sound of an instrument vocally, which actually came about when Louis Armstrong dropped his trumpet and started singing on nonsense syllables. So thank you, Mr. Armstrong. Jazz requires an incredible amount of skill and training, but once you're in a jam session and it's your turn to solo, it's time to leap. When I first joined my band at MSM, I was so nervous. I was surrounded by all of these incredible musicians. Their solos seemed effortless, and I felt like I was performing with mini professionals. And while that was amazing, it also made me feel like I didn't belong. I felt like I had slipped in with luck because they saw my passion for it. My band and instructor were so kind and welcoming, but whenever my instructor offered me an opportunity to solo, I froze. There I stood, teetering on the edge, wanting to jump, but I couldn't. I ended up sounding like this. I had no idea what I was doing. It was almost like I had never sung before, and I was learning all over again. I was so worried about what my band would think about me. Somehow when I soloed, my main focus was just to stay on pitch. I knew the chord progressions. I knew how to sing. So what was it? I couldn't think. I was clouded by fear. I started talking to other people I looked up to in my classes, and they started expressing the same thing. I started to realize that we were all going through the same experience. The difference between us was who is jumping and who's tripping over their own feet. who was teetering over the edge, and who fully let go. So I started working on my music theory that I had to understand in order to have the confidence and foundation to be able to scat. Not so long ago, we had our first pre-college jazz recital. I was incredibly nervous because in one of the songs that we were playing, the one I told you about earlier, Blues in the Closet, I had to write lyrics. I was so anxious about this because it was my chance to show the band and the entirety of the jazz wing of Manhattan School of Music pre-college that I could do something. I was told to write about the composer who wrote the song, Oscar Pettiford. This writing prompt was definitely a challenge because there's very little information about him, only a Wikipedia page and a YouTube video of him from like very, very, very long ago with some pretty fake ads. So I took what I could from the video and decided to write about the atmosphere, how he played, and the feeling. But the thing that terrified me the most was our arrangement of the tune. After the drummer solos, I had to catch the intro with the bass and sing bare bones and completely change the melody in the moment. So this didn't only scare me, it scared my band because in our rehearsals, even our sound check, our last performance, our last chance to try it out, I did really, really bad. So here we were, last song of the show, and I was standing over the edge. I was listening to the drummer solo, but I wasn't worried. I was just taking it in. And somehow, my parachute worked. I caught the cue, the bass was playing with me, its rhythm matched my heartbeat, and we were so in sync and tasteful, and best of all, I was on pitch. So I had spent weeks sitting over the edge and finally jumped, and I have a video of that monumentous moment. So I'll show you. So as I'm getting ready for my next chapter in life, thinking about that leap of faith. In life we face challenges. Waking up and coming to school in the morning, having a hard talk with someone, going to a tryout or audition, asking someone out, or giving a speech. But if we don't take our shot in the dark, don't take that leap of faith, you don't know what could have been. And your soul doesn't just let go of that. It'll linger, and you'll wonder what could have been if you talked to that person and worked it out. If you'd gone to that audition and booked the job. If you chased your dream. The world doesn't stop for me. Time keeps moving. I have my shot, and so do you. This is my life, and no one's going to seize my day. So even though it's scary, I'm going to take that leap of faith. And you should too. Thank you.